Good morning. This is your KCHW morning show. It is Friday, June 27th.
Friday.
It is Friday. We are here with myself, Chuck Ritchie. We have the lovely Paula Randall. And I hear Craig in the other room shouting, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. So we are joined by Craig McQuain, all of us live in the studio. And good morning to you out there. How are you this morning, Paula?
I am doing, well, okay, I'm doing good, but it was a little hard getting out of bed this morning.
Yeah.
I got to grab my coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay,
Oh, sure,
that's fair.
he's got
that's
coffee.
Fair.
I don't have coffee. You've got coffee.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I'll get you some during the break.
Okay.
I promise. I'm sorry. I didn't get it to you to start with, so we'll have a rough first half.
We'll have a rough first half.
But you'll
right?
muddle through.
I'll grab you some coffee, Paula.
I don't know. Chuck makes it a special way.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you so much.
But when you come back, you
Seasoning.
have a 5-minute delay on your microphone, Craig.
No,
All right.
but you know, this morning I was just tired. I did not want to get up. I was sitting in bed, and I'm like, oh, snooze. And I never hit snooze before the radio morning.
Really?
Really?
I do every morning.
That's
About
what you
5
said.
times.
Really? No, see, I hit that alarm, and I get up, and I take my shower, and I do my thing. But this morning, I was like,
Wow. Although this morning I actually got to bed early.
wow.
And I got a full 6 hours of sleep last night.
That's amazing. No
Yeah.
wonder you look so refreshed.
Right?
That is
No,
awesome.
But my dog this morning, he was in a panic. Woke me up 20 minutes before my alarm went off. And he wasn't
no.
taking no for an answer. He had to go outside.
You had to go outside.
Yeah, he had to go potty.
Yep. Understood.
So you know how dogs be.
Yep.
But yeah, so I got up and then made my coffee and got my morning going, and I blinked and I was like, oh no, I better hurry because I'm gonna be late.
Right?
Why does that always happen?
I don't know.
The earlier you get up, the less time
The
you
less
have.
time you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, I've got plenty of time.
Because you're not in a full blown panic.
problem.
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
That's what it is.
All right, Craig, I'll turn your microphone on.
All right. Well,
Was it sound like I was in the other room? Well, I was in the other room.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the weather. Paula, do you have the weather up? Or
I
you want me-
do. I'm
Okay.
ready.
Let's give us a rundown of the weather.
all right. Well, today is Friday, the 27th of June, and we have a high of 76 and a low of 52. No rain in the forecast, although last night they said no rain, and we got some sprinkles. So
We did get some sprinkles.
Yeah,
Just
some-
for a minute.
and just enough to make you go, ah. Saturday, we have a high of 80 with a low of 53 with partially cloudy skies. Sunday, we have a high of 88, low of 57, sunny skies. Monday, we're starting to get into that hot zone with
Yeah.
a high of 96 and a low of 62, full sunny skies. Tuesday, the 1st of July, I can't believe it, a high of 98, a low of 64, and partially cloudy skies. Wednesday, we have a high of 92, a low of 58, and sunny skies. And there's your week forecast.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then, looking ahead, it looks like it's going to stay in the 90s for
Day
forever.
forever. That's terrible. Well, I mean, it's summer. That's good. That's
I
what we
know.
have.
I know, but I love the weather today. That mid-70s, that's perfect.
Right? It's
right?
perfect with a little breeze coming in, and the farmer's market's going to be so
Yes.
nice, and the trees. I wonder if the donut lady's going to be there this week, or the donut people.
The donut family.
The donut family.
Yeah, I hope so.
I
Right?
noticed
We
that
missed them last
I ended up with the Chewelah Farmers Market token. I didn't know they did those.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
ran out of cash. I thought you were getting a kick out of it.
what did you leave it as a tip?
I did. He was singing, and we were out in the rain at the Colbert.
It was pretty easy to put two and two together. I was like,
That's awesome.
out in
Right?
Colbert. I'm like, let's see. I knew only one group that was from Chewelah. So.
Exactly. Look at that a bit. So I'm like, ooh, I have a token. Craig will appreciate that. And so I
Yeah.
put a couple dollars in the token.
But you know what? It spends the same. You're going to spend it at the market anyway.
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure.
You get
Thanks
a
for
donut.
being a
tip
good
the
sport.
tip the talent that's down there, that's
Right?
entertaining everybody, or buy some veggies, or
Right?
I-
find some sweet treat to
Oh,
to
yeah.
enjoy in the afternoon in beautiful
What'd you call
Chewelah.
me?
Yeah, is that what you've been calling me lately?
Dun,
Is that all I am to you?
Thank you.
crack me up.
Oh, I would take the Friday market tokens any day. As a tip.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really excited about it too, because I'm
Nice.
like, well, hey, it looks like I'm gonna have to make an appearance down there.
Yes,
Yay.
you will.
Yeah.
Yes, you will. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the Chula Valley Lions Club calendar
Yep.
before we get on to our community events, and then we'll get on to the Northern Light Spotlight with Craig. And later in the second half of the show, we have a very special guest today. Excited to have him in. We have Chase Champagne, who's a phenomenal musician from Colville.
Well, and I kind of neglected to kind of just send him a message this week, so I got a message this morning. We're still on, right? And I'm like, yep.
See there?
Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah. It's just funny because I was like, man, you know how like we had that group chat, and I think we started it a month ago or more.
Yeah.
And then it just, no messages back and forth. So, usually when that happens, it's nice to just do that. Yeah, that quick little follow up, But yeah, he is on his way. So
I hate it when you do that and you realize like, oh man, I made this appointment like 6 months ago and I never bothered to follow up, and then they show up. Well, I don't hate it when they show up. I love it when people just show up, but
right,
when you realize at the last minute, like, oh no, I never like double check to reconfirm.
Yeah,
because I know sometimes I don't put things on my calendar, and 6 months later, I have no idea. Trying to get better about it.
Yeah. It's I try to be as accurate with that as I can be, but then I've noticed that running into just being so busy that something falls through the cracks, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, wait a minute, I guess I'm doing that today because it's like there goes all my plans for the day because of it could have been easily averted if you would have just either made the call or whatever. Yeah, just
what I've started doing is I will immediately, and I've realized I know this about myself. If I don't put it in my calendar like that second, like stop what I'm doing, put it in the calendar, and then whoever I have that appointment with, send them an invite to the calendar as well, and then they will also get reminded when they forget too.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's like what I've been doing for the singer showcase is I've just I've already I talked to all of them, and then I'm just like now I'm catching them and I'm sending them a message for the time and place. Like, there it is. It's like put it in your calendar now or burn it in your brain. And, yeah, but then I'll probably the week before send out a hey, just reminding you about
the thing you said you were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, exactly.
Well, we should probably have a little bit of a rehearsal for it for people that would not everybody
Rehearsals
just
are good.
can do it on their own, and some people need a little hey, no, it's good.
Just jump out on stage.
You know what I
and
mean?
sing.
They like the positive reinforcements.
Exactly.
Yeah. How is this going to run? So I asked one of the ladies to just act as stage manager, so then that way she can kind of help, because I'll be DJing, so I can't really get people lined up, and that's all you got to do is just know who's before. Hey, when they're up, you're up next, so be ready.
Yeah.
It's
when they walk off stage, you go up.
Yeah. It's just it saves people from guessing and then having to try to come and tug on my hey, when am I going?
It sounds easy without a stage manager to just say, hey, you guys just here's the order when they're done, but no, you really need that.
I mean, you tell them that, but then you have somebody there that's like,
huh? What?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
pulling
you
them off stage and throwing them on stage, basically.
Yep.
I thought you meant after.
The director over here is like,
yep.
There's a reason why there's a stage manager.
Yep.
Alrighty, so today on our Chula Valley Lions Club calendar, we have Elijah Shelton with birthday. Then Alexis and William Peters have an anniversary.
Ooh, happy anniversary.
Birthday and anniversary, everybody.
Yes.
You ready? You got a song for us? She's forgotten her birthday
I
song.
have absolutely forgotten my birthday song. It is not in my brain.
Happy birthday.
No,
I don't even remember how it goes.
Oh man, you're calling me out on this one.
Did we have a mental block?
We did. It's like there's some kind of we got all hypnotized to
a perception
happy
filter.
birthday, happy day,
Hey,
happy birthday, yay, yay!
There we
there
go.
we go.
Thank you, Craig.
Oh, you're good. Thank you, Craig. What boy? We
Deep out of the
earned
catacombs of my musical
Right?
mind. It's been a little bit. Yeah, you need to do those every week, or you lose them.
Happy,
You
happy
do
birthday,
twice a
happy,
week.
Happy day. Happy,
Happy
happy
birthday,
birthday.
yay.
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 There it is. Okay, it's back. Thanks.
And there was an anniversary in there too.
Yeah, see, that's what wiped the birthday song, though, is I did the anniversary song.
Yeah, that's
true.
pretty. It's similar.
It is.
So I have to stay with the birthday song because that's my shtick.
Yep.
Okay, but happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
There we go.
You know the one that always gets me, and it's one of my most hated songs of all time. But my wife loves it, and she uses it as a torture device. She does it in my head.
Ooh.
Do 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 do. See?
Yeah, we're gonna be. Paula and I will be circling you later at the farmers market. Everybody's gonna be like, "What are they doing?"
You are all welcome.
Chuck is gonna be like, ah.
That song will now be stuck in your head forever. What was that?
What is the other one?
That was the drum beat.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
See, if you also get See, we are a whole service group here at KCHW.
We all woke up in the morning.
Have you thought about doing a vocal group, you guys? Why not, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
we got it. We got it.
There's our new KCHW intro theme song.
Is there any talented beatboxers out there that could teach me how to beatbox?
Right?
I would, if you are a talented beatboxer, just walk in the door here and show me what you got. 'Cause we'll
Yeah.
do something with you.
Seriously,
I swear.
yes.
Yeah.
We'll get you on the radio. We'll get
It's like, no, we don't have one of those sound effect generators. We just have Tom.
right.
It's
Right?
like he does all the
So
sound
you have
effects.
to be at home practicing with a microphone and an amp because you have to make all these
Oh, yeah.
sounds with your mouth. That.
Well, and
whatever
then they
they
do
do
the
with that.
circle breathing, and then they,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of things they do.
I
Yeah.
dreamed as a child of being a beatboxer, and I practiced, and it wasn't until 30 that I gave up on that dream and realized I can't do that.
I always had cotton mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. My walls were all covered with spit.
Ew.
And on that Friday morning visual.
Wow.
All
All
right.
Let's
They sent me to my room,
Community
and I just beatboxed.
Craig, are you beatboxing in there again?
Yes, mother.
We told you to stop that.
And he's like totally not a mother voice. That's what's so funny to me about that.
I can just see Sally out there shaking her head.
Is that what he thinks I sound like?
Craig, it's always beatboxing.
Well, it's interesting to me, like singing with my mom and dad, because my mom and dad have very distinct voices, and they harmonize well together. But, it's like I hear the aspects of my voice that's similar to my mom's, and then I hear the aspects that's similar to my dad's. You know what I mean? But it's not the same. But I hear I just hear it sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Your singing voice, there have been a couple of times when I've seen you guys singing together, and I have to look up to see which one of you is actually singing. You guys you have a very similar singing voice to your dad.
mm-hmm.
It's,
Yeah, well, and it's like
once I see it, it's obvious who's who. But if you're just like if you're at the pizza place and having a conversation, and I gotta sometimes look up like, oh, okay, that's Doug or that's Craig.
Well, and I think a lot of that comes from hearing my dad
Genetics?
sing. Well, that I think there is that too,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of it is just when I was growing up, I was going to sleep to rehearsal. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I remember hearing these songs.
Yeah.
And so it's like even ones my parents don't do anymore. I heard them so many times that when I go to sing them, I just naturally go to those.
Yeah,
Especially in the way it's phrased, right?
right,
'Cause
right.
that's what really makes you distinct from another. It's not the tonality, but it's the way you phrase and
Yeah,
when you don't sing, and there's a lot of factors obviously, but yeah, that's what I noticed with my dad. And what's interesting is I try to harmonize with him, but I don't. It's like since we have such similar voices, I could really sing his lines and it would just chorus.
yeah,
If I really had him down.
right, right.
Yeah. So it's interesting to be able to do that, because like if you try to do that with a voice that's not similar to yours, it doesn't give that chorus effect.
Right.
It competes. It doesn't. And if like you sing, two notes that are identical will sound twice as loud, or
Oh yeah.
or, to some extent.
Well, it makes sense. You grow up hearing it. That's how you're going to sing it. Like you grow up around Suzanne Vega. You sing do do do. No, I'll stop.
I thought we moved beyond that.
But
All right.
what's interesting to that is like, say if I'm singing a song that my dad sings, if I'm singing it by myself, I'll sing his line.
Yeah,
But when I sing it with him, I'm singing a harmony to it.
yeah.
It's just like I find myself jumping all over the place and trying different harmonies in songs. And I mean, some of them I can tell that it's just not the tone of my voice. It just doesn't sound. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't cut. Like sometimes it's like, oh yeah, that works really good. It
Yeah.
really shows up. But yeah.
Well, when you harmonize right, it sort of gives this buzz in your head, and you can feel it. Like I don't know. I've been able to harmonize with a few people at times, and it does it when it syncs up. It's like a physical feeling. You can feel it like the vibrations in your brain, not on a spiritual level, but like physically. There's like this. It just works. Even when you're listening to people and they harmonize well, it just creates this sort of physical manifestation
Are we both
of
giving
the.
you the exact same look?
You
Craig
don't-
and
you
I
don't-
over here
you
like,
don't get that?
huh.
Do sounds have shapes?
Is
to you
this
people?
what harmony is?
No.
No, I know. I feel
I
it
think-
too. I get that
I
feeling.
think it might have a touch of synesthesia because sounds have shapes and tastes have colors and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't know. You
I
both
don't
are
know
still
if
looking
it-
at me like, what are you talking about, Chuck?
No. I think
No, it goes
I
into
think
like
that-
quantum theory and
Oh, yeah.
the vibrations of everything.
Oh yeah.
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 Well, sound waves are
Yep.
physical.
Well, another
They're-
story, like going back to my dad, like I can remember being up at Ainsworth Hot Springs and him perched up on one of the rock, because it's like a cave that you can walk through. It's like a sauna that's a cave, so it's a hot spring that you can actually have the water like pouring on you if you want, like right out of the earth. It's really interesting.
Nice.
Cool.
But yeah, he would sit in there and he would just sit there and hit the resonant frequency of the cave, and then everything would like would like be much louder, and then he would go between the intervals within that set. So it's not necessarily that cave isn't tuned to what we tune to, like 440.
Right.
But I'm just saying that,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I did that last night in the bathroom of the Truth Center for the Arts.
I suddenly want to go to a cave with Doug. I mean.
Right.
Yeah, right. Then you can do like
the-
some
the
kind
hot
of.
springs. I want to do that.
It is
Tony
cool.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
probably not the first time Doug's heard that.
But you can find that in rooms too. If you just
Oh,
sing
yeah.
through the notes, you find the ones that like liven up the room. And I was actually telling a story about I saw a band called Army of Anyone, which was Stone Temple Pilots' rhythm section with the singer from Filter.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
And so the singer from Filter has a real high voice, but he hit some notes in the knitting factory that you couldn't have done anywhere else. Like
Yeah.
the way that it was ringing
Oh,
with.
cool.
Yeah, it was unbelievable because it just excited the whole building.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I was just like that at that moment. I'm like, wow, that's some power right there.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
I think the most interesting thing that I experienced, I have a drum that I made badly, probably is what happened. But when you play the drum, it's a hand drum. It resonates around the inside of the drum in a way that my other drums don't. And so you end up with a quarter tone that is playing if you continually play the drum, because that echo just happens on the back of the drum.
Oh, that's cool.
So I call my drum singing sister because she sings with me. And so it's really fun because that resonant hum that will come up after the repeated use of the drum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun. All right.
Well, and then like is it the sitar? Well, it has strings that vibrate underneath. So,
Yeah, like those drone strings.
right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. It's just really interesting how that gives it that shimmer and
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
the unique sound of it. There's other stringed instruments that kind of do that.
Well, and it's similar like the didgeridoo. When you hit the drone in the didgeridoo,
Yep.
it takes very, very little air pressure to keep that going because it actually it reverberates back into your mouth and it actually builds its own pressure inside the didgeridoo, and all you have to do is keep that going, and it actually takes just a teeny. It takes a lot more to get it started, but then it's very little to keep it going. So
I am not
Just
that
kind of a-
good with the didgeridoo.
just kind of a soft
I have
breath.
to do a lot of breathing.
And if your nose is stuffy, it's really hard to do the
Right.
circular breathing. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our community calendar as we move
Yes.
along here so we can get to the Northern Light Spotlight before we welcome Chase Champagne for the second half of the show.
Right?
All right, so today we have the Tooele Chamber of Commerce meeting. It's happening right now at the,
Right
at the Missisquoi Casino Cafe. You can get there. You have about 15 minutes left. You can say we sent you there and go and, but don't interrupt them.
Don't interrupt.
Don't interrupt. Just
Say hi.
walk in quietly and have a snack and then turn around and walk out and leave. No, don't do that.
How much time do you have?
They have good donuts.
Right, we have the farmers market today starting at 11 going until 3. There's always good things happening there, great produce, amazing people. Go and
Yes.
check out our award-winning farmers market.
And it's getting closer. There's more and more fruit there every week, and that's what I really look forward to is the fruit because I have a sweet tooth.
Do they tell you when like who's going to be playing down there? Because I know they usually have music, whether it's Bill or
He just
This-
says that we crank up the tunes and provide a variety of live music.
sometimes you DJ. I mean, there's
Yeah.
just different things. That go.
Yeah, this week I believe it is Gretchen, the harp player, is going to be there this
Oh,
week.
yes, there
Yeah.
was a Facebook post about
Yeah.
her being there.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I love a harp. Such a fun,
Right?
such a beautiful instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a reminder on Saturdays. Do you guys have anything else going on tonight? It seems like Friday night there should be more going on.
Well, I'm
You got
doing my stuff. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to talk about that in a
Craig,
minute.
Craig's like, me. He's raising his hand. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So Saturdays from now until, let's see. Oh, I got my
We do
lamp in
have
the way.
the New Wire Charity Golf Tournament going on today,
Oh, that's right.
and
that's
that
right.
is from 11 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. So that's something exciting to take a look at. I don't have any other information yet. No,
Where's that golf tournament happening?
I presume the golf course.
You're right. I know. So then, there was
Go
more
ahead.
information about it?
No, it's not coming up.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, then the reminder from the Loon Lake Historical Society that the Old Schoolhouse Museum, Jones Gift Shop, and History Room are open from now until May 3rd, or from May 3rd until September 27th, every Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You can put your family history in their archives. You can go check it out. They have a little gift shop. It's a really great, fun little spot to go just check out.
I agree.
If you're out
It's
in the-
going to be a good event.
If you're out and about on a Saturday and just kind of, one of those beautiful Saturday afternoons, look for something to do. It's a really fun little quaint thing to do. I love it.
Oh, it's awesome. The
Yeah.
history there.
And you
And
can
then
visit.
also tomorrow.
Sorry, really quick. You can visit loonlakehistoricalsociety.com
Perfect.
to find out more. Go ahead.
And then also tomorrow we have the second anniversary celebration of our very own wonderful Columbia Creamery. It's the
Yes.
nation's only 501c3 nonprofit milk processing plant right here in Chewelah.
The only one in the nation. Probably won't be for very long because there's a lot of other places that are really interested in
Yes.
recreating what it's been so successful
Yes.
and such a huge benefit for the farmers.
Everybody.
Huge
yeah.
benefit, yeah.
Just everybody. They're going to have free milk and cookies. You can taste your delicious local milk. You can take a plant tour and see the fascinating machinery.
Mm-hmm.
Meet your local farmers, the dairy producers and local farmers, and see all the amazing great products in the store, the milk, the flavored milk, the cream, the ice cream, the yogurt, the sourdough, the eggs, the beef jerky, and more. He says milk bottle art contest winners will be announced.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And if they have any left, make sure to get your KCHW cinnamon ice cream. Last time it sold out within days, and it's been there for a couple of weeks, so maybe it might be sold out. I don't know.
Yeah, probably sold out.
But you better go Saturday and check and look.
Mm-hmm. And then on Sunday, of course, we have the Blues Jam, and Craig is going to talk more about that. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you have adult pickleball going on from 8:30 to 11:30 over at the golf course. And then on the 30th, we have the Senior Center Potluck, and that is over at the Chewelah Senior Center. It's the last Monday of every month. And then I think, gosh, wasn't there something else happening on Monday the 30th? Some really big, really awesome.
There
Oh,
is
look,
a thing.
he's got his press pass.
got his
All
badge.
right.
Excuse me, coming through. I have a badge.
I'm writing an article for the Silverado Express.
Outstanding. Are you really? Are you?
I am, but
Yeah,
I put a little blurb in it last month to plug the show. I've talked about it on here. I've also been starting my own little show every week and been plugging it on that.
Nice,
So
nice.
And what was that show again?
we're doing good. We got a lot of tickets sold. I think I'm very optimistic that we can do that. What was that?
But
What
the
was the name
show.
of the show again?
So it's
Go ahead.
at lunch with Dylan, Will, Lee, and myself.
We're talking about the show on Monday.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we doing something on Monday? That's my day off.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go
No,
ahead and get that set up
so what's really cool,
Oh, my
and since I was running late this morning, I'm sorry, everybody. I was going to bring that guitar that we're going to raffle off on Monday at the Igor and Red Elvis's show at the
Yes.
Chewelah Center for the Arts,
Nice.
Yes.
which is just an awesome thing that we've been able to put together. I mean, how did we make this happen, Chuck?
I don't know, Craig. How did you make this happen?
Well, so
Yeah.
I have a long-standing relationship with Igor as far as I've opened for him. I mean, it's been many years since I opened for him last, but I have made a point to go see him. The first time I've ever saw his band was actually on PBS when I was a middle schooler.
Yeah.
And I was just flipping through the few stations that we had, but then I noticed on the local public radio station or public broadcasting station, they had this band that was playing at Venice Beach. It was out on the pier in Santa Monica, and I had actually lived down there when I was younger, so I was familiar with that area. And I was like, that was what really drew me in. But then I just noticed how much fun they were having, and they were playing this surf rock, and the crowd was just going nuts. And it was like the guitar player was phenomenal. And And Igor was the rhythm guitar player back then, but he's really became quite the lead player himself, and he always has some great musicians with him. The original lineup has long since been disbanded, but I mean, he's played with so many different great artists, and every time I see him, sometimes he has phenomenal accordion players, sometimes he has phenomenal keyboard players, sometimes he has just shredder guitar players, and pro quality drummers. He actually lives in Santa Monica. Yeah. That's where he tours from, but he originally was born in Germany, grew up in Ukraine, and he's been touring around the U.S. This is his 30th year.
30th? They're on their 30th anniversary.
Living the American dream. Yeah.
That is
rock
so
and roll
cool.
star.
And they've garnered a worldwide, sort of cult following.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in multiple episodes of Melrose Place. Some of their music was featured in one of the biggest smash hit films of all time, Armageddon.
Mm-hmm.
They've done. They've been in. They did
There was a VH1 behind the music about
that's
them.
What I was thinking of. Yep.
And I mean that shows how much impact they've had.
Yeah.
And what was interesting when I first met him, I was just like, hey, I told him the story I was just telling you guys. I saw you on public. He's like, yeah, that's been a really good thing that we did, putting that on public, because it got us out to a lot of new audiences. Yeah. And they tour all around, and that's really the trick to it. If there's a band out there that's touring that you really like, look at their calendar.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a deal they can't refuse. You know what I mean? As far as like, hey, you're coming through the area already. Let me help you find a place to stay, and we'll take care of you. You know what I mean? That's really how you get in on their good side. So.
And one of the things that really strikes me when you watch their videos on YouTube, especially they recently did a Jam in the Van show. If you're familiar with that YouTube series, the way they look, the way the band members look at each other, and they have these great big smiles on their faces. They love what they're doing. They're having a blast, and they're a band that, from what you see online, they're just having fun.
Well, and it's like that's what
bonus. They're just having fun up there.
I've been telling like the band, we're getting ready for opening for them, and my parents and Rob and Will, and I'm just looking at everybody. Okay, guys, don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, because they don't.
They don't.
They don't.
So let's have fun with this one, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh nice.
We don't play every night like they do. Of course, they're going to be better. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's not a competition, but just have fun, and enjoy the moment.
Oh yeah. And we're gonna leave a lot of dance floor open, so there's gonna be plenty of room to dance, because you're gonna dance. You're gonna have a hard time sitting still for this show.
Yeah.
And we do have tickets available online. You can go to kchw.org. You can go to our KCHW Facebook page. We have tickets available at Valley Drug, Acres Drug, or you can scan any of those QR codes around town on any poster. All you have to do is open your camera. If you can open your camera, you can use a QR code. Just open your camera, point it at that QR code. A little link will pop up, and you just click on that, and it'll take you right to our page to purchase those tickets. You can also add a little bit extra if you want to add on a $5 donation, or there's a couple spots you can add on even a little more if you want.
Right, and support your local radio station.
And we do, for this show, a lot of those extra, we do have some, they're a much larger band than we would normally bring in. Our expenses are a little higher, so any of those additional donations go to help get the band put up for the night and help with our expenses. So.
All right, so Craig is on the phone probably with the guy who's coming in.
Probably.
So I'm going to go through and see if I can win his Northern Light Spotlight. Here we go.
Okay.
Because he's talking. Oh, he's back.
Okay, Craig's back.
I was
our guest. Sorry, I just didn't want to take a call on.
No, it's all good. I was going to cover for you. Look, I brought up the Northern Light
Spotlight. Oh, look at that. That's where you find all that. So the Northern
Light
Spotlight is a group on Facebook that you can find that is a public group. And what we do is every week I put up a post that you can leave a comment on to let us know what events you have coming up. The first one I want to talk about is at Masters Brew House on June 28th. Dave and Ray are going to be playing from 5 to 7 p.m.
Nice.
And volunteers are needed for the Up Kenham celebration that is happening very, very soon. Chase is going to talk more about that when he joins us. So it's July 17th and 18th. And they need help with overnight security, trash duty, event cleanup. Every volunteer makes a huge difference. Thank you for pitching in. And that is brought to you by the Vincent Fund. So you can find out more about volunteering for Yet Kenham at volunteer@yetkenhamcelebration.org.
Very
we
cool.
need a volunteer link like that.
We do.
That's an awesome volunteer link.
We do. I think our same page we use for our ticket sales. I think Give Butter has a volunteer coordination section.
Well, one thing I would like to do is, do a little more outreach. Maybe set up booths at these different festivals that we're not necessarily, like I'm not playing at this one particularly, but it would be cool to get like the radio station down there and at least some representatives down there.
It really would be.
Yeah, it would help. I think we could, anyway, we can talk more about that later.
Yeah.
But on Friday they got Justin Johnson, Dave and Ray, who I just mentioned, that's going to be playing in Deer Park this weekend, will be at Yet Kenham, Mystic Phoenix, Kunda Marimba Drum and Dance. That sounds fun. We got Time Travelers, Hannah Jackson, Sarah Brown Band rounding out Friday. Then on Saturday, Step Brothers Band, who was our guest last week. The Irish Dancers, Stevens County Stompers, friends of ours. On Call Cowboys. Chase is going to be here in the studio today. Then we got the Mystical Phoenix, Midnight Run, Sonic Groove, and the Mean Tweets. And that rounds, and that's your Saturday lineup. The Mean Tweets. It just makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It really does.
That's a great
Love
name.
it.
Do they do political music?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where to go after just. Yeah. Anyway, so Sunday we've got Jason Perry, Jukebox Review, Murphy Legacy, Eric Larson Band, Jan Jensen Band, and that is the Yet Kenham celebration sponsored by Toyota. They're a big reason we have live music around the area. They help fund a lot of our celebrations. So, hey, check out Toyota, and they'll get you to the gig and back.
Oh, yeah. Colville Toyota, one of the sponsors of the radio station.
That's
Thank
right.
you guys for that.
Yep. And so that's July 18th, 19th, and 20th. Yet Kenham Park in Colville, Washington. Check it out.
Yep.
And then the week before that, we've got Summerfest happening.
Yes, we do.
And Chuck, could you let me? So I know that we're starting off with a singer showcase.
Yep.
At 10:30, and then after that we have a whole Danny Bacon.
Yeah, Danny Bacon. She's coming. She's bringing the whole band. We have Planetary Refugees, Zach Pass, and I may get a couple of these out of order. We've got
Matthew
Tippich, our winner of 2025's Chwila's Got Talent, and he's been. Since then, he's been playing all over the place. He's back for the summer, doing really well. And someday we're going to see him, I think, in big lights on a big stage in a big city. I don't think it'll be very long at all.
Well, Northport, I know on July 4th, he's going to be playing their 4th of July celebration where they do a big fireworks show up on the river.
Very cool.
So that's something that his mom is putting together, I believe.
That's
and then Chase is playing up there with On Call Cowboys.
Nice.
And so if you're looking
Right.
for something to do on the 4th of July, Northport,
There
just
you
saying.
go. Yeah, and then we have Infusion. They're gonna be playing there. One of our local favorites. And welcoming back to the main stage, we have Nate Ostrander. He's gonna be doing some songs from his new album, Lover's Will, and really looking forward to that. His other band he's with, Karma Circle, got cut short last Winterfest because it was so cold. They had a hard time finishing their set. So, and there was nobody there because everyone already went inside where it was warm. It just got really cold, really fast.
Well, we tried to warm it up when Scary World played, but
Oh yeah.
it was kind of hard when it was 15, 20 degrees out.
Oh yeah.
Or
And then one of the
less,
heaters that we
Or
rented
less.
was not working.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah. Well, and they were blowing heat, but it was just like immediately cold.
Well, one of the heaters had a crushed plug, so we couldn't even
Right.
plug it in.
No, that's not good.
And also for the Summerfest, we're joined with the Arts Guild for the Chwila Children's Festival.
Oh, great.
So that's going to be happening. Stage Time Theater is putting on a special show of boxes and hats.
Very nice.
Yeah, there's going to be, I think, as of yesterday, I think 30, because I know 2 more people just signed up, so I think about 36 vendors. There's going to be lots of great food, including our own Friday night DJ, Old Man Mark. He's got a sandwich booth out there. Yeah, it's going to be a great show.
Yeah, and they organized the Little League tournament to happen during Summerfest.
Yes, there's a
correct.
Little League tournament, working on some other smaller events.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's great.
Maybe some other activities happening. So yeah, it's gonna be great. Oh, the Duck Regatta, Chwila Valley Lions Club doing the Duck Regatta.
It's during Summerfest?
It's during Summerfest. Yep.
Oh, man.
That-
I'm going to be missing it.
Oh,
That is like one of my favorite things. Remember last year I was like running down the bank doing a live commentary?
Yes.
And the bank, I can't see what number it is. It looks like a number 45. I think it's going, and it bumped out by 42. Oh, no. That was so much fun.
it was fun.
That is
Okay.
awesome. Well, and then I was just thinking like the week after Summerfest, there's something really big happening
There
in town,
is
isn't
something
there?
happening too.
Yeah, isn't there?
I
I mean,
really appreciate you, Craig.
Paula's
Yeah,
thinking
you
really
know,
hard.
there's
The weekend after Summerfest is the one and only, the amazing, the spectacular, the stupendous, the riveting, The Tempest
That's
by
right.
Shakespeare. And we're putting it on we're putting it on July 19th and 20th. It's free. It's at 4 p.m. Out there in the green behind the theater. We're really excited this year to be offering additional seating, more seating, because we're moving that fence. That should be done this current weekend. And so there'll be a lot more room because then it's like a big V that's going outwards
Oh, smart.
and
Okay.
expanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're also doing something new this year to kind of raise funds. As you know, going to Shakespeare's free. It's out there on the green. But we are going to have seats that can be reserved. So if you don't get there early and you're afraid you're not going to be able to see, or you want to be right there on the stage, then you can go online to Shakespeare on the Green, ChuilaShakespeareonthegreen.com, and you can reserve seats. So the board voted that the reserved seats that you can, hold for $20 per seat, you can go ahead and reserve your seats and give us your name, and we'll put a little plaque on the seats in the first 2 rows when you can reserve, so you don't have to rush to get there at 3. Last year
Yeah.
we had probably over 300 people there.
It was really packed, and
It was.
I urged my parents because they were late, or they came in right at the start, and I was like, come over by the mosquito bait band, because
Nice.
we had room over there, so
We-
got them
we-
a little bit better seats. Yeah.
We were late too, and we really love the show, but we were sitting on the ground in gravel,
Yeah.
and it was a little uncomfortable. And we wish we would have gotten there early. And if we could have reserved our seats for $20,
See?
we would have.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So we're really excited because, every year I raise funds. I look for sponsors. I try to do everything I can to kind of offset it because a free show, it still costs money to put it on. The costuming,
Oh, yeah.
the sets, the building. Melissa Curie is doing an amazing job building me a boat with sails. I'm so excited. And it's a 3-level tiered stage, right? I've got a tower, I've got forest, I've got beach. So amazing. There's always costs. And so I usually am operating in the red. And this year I tried to raise enough funds, but I'm already in the red. So it's like, okay, what can we do?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm really, really excited. I have phenomenal actors. I have a phenomenal set. It's going to be epic. You really do not want to miss The Tempest this year on July 19th and 20th, 4 p.m.
Yeah, that's so great. And I really made a point yesterday in my show to talk about the Chuila Center for the Arts and what an amazing place that has basically grown out of the hard work of the young actors and the the base of people that are really inspired by theater and just love it and do it for the sake of loving it, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And
yeah.
that theater, of course, is going through, it's going to be a multi-million-dollar facility when they're done.
Mm-hmm.
We're gearing up for our next stage of fundraising because we're going to be changing the entrance to the theater. So it will be facing the parking lot, and there will be an actual lobby with a marquee. It will expand the number of seats that we're able to hold. It's going to be really, really amazing. So more news is going to be coming out from.
Well, and I noticed, for me, I've just gotten to the habit of being like, it's right next to where the pool used to be, or next to the museum, or behind the bowling alley, because for some reason. Yeah, marquee's going to help a lot, but just I don't know if we have to have some signs that are a little more visible on the highway, or if we just need to redirect the highway past it.
There you go.
There's that little building that's out in front of the narrow blue building, that on the highway that's on 395 in Maine. So there's that square building that's right by that little narrow blue building.
Mm-hmm.
That square building, that brown one, is actually going to be used by the theater. We've made an arrangement.
Are you talking about right there at the light?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yeah, that little square one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the little garage building that's owned by Frank City.
Yeah, exactly. The little garage building. So we're going to be painting that, and that will be like our highway marquee.
Oh, very cool.
That's great. I love it. I mean,
Yeah.
because it's such an interesting little building, and so many people have always looked at it and been like, God, that would be something just perfect for. I remember it being a little, like a not a Blockbuster, but a little local video company that was in there.
Oh,
Actually,
really?
it was a friend of mine's
fun.
dad. Yeah, that had it down there for a little while, and then I've seen little coffee shops pop up there, like a tattoo parlor. To me, it always seems like God, it'd be just a great little spot for like a produce, like right in the middle of town where you could go get your fresh veggies. But it's just because it's just got the open parking. But
Yeah.
there's really,
Right.
it's such a, unutilized, like, very visible spot. So having
It
it
is.
be there for
that garage right
yeah.
there, right next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you just using the garage or both those spaces?
No, just the garage.
Okay,
So
cool.
we're going to cover the garage and we're going to paint it so it looks like the Center for the Arts. And then there will be 2 big windows in there with light. And so the current events will be big posters in those 2 windows.
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
That's
and
incredible.
so like next year, our main productions will be in those windows so people driving by.
That's
will
really
be able to
cool.
see
And
it.
what's interesting about the history there is where the bank is that they just put in.
Yeah.
That's where the old theater used to be.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That
Yeah,
building
isn't that
was
it?
the old movie theater.
Yeah, that's the old movie theater.
Wow.
Yeah, it'd be cool to get some pictures from that. I bet you there's some in the museum. We should look at that someday. Cause,
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now I'm going to go look for him.
Mhm.
We had Diane on Wednesday.
kind
from
of
the-
like if
from
you go
the
through
museum.
Kettle Falls and they have the Woodland Theater, and you know that theater's been there for a long time.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's an old building,
Yeah.
and so there used to be one like that in Chewelah that you drive through, but it just obviously, too many gunshots through the ceiling. Yeah. It started leaking. Yeah. Think about the Wild West. It wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't. Oh, my gosh.
And saloon girls.
And if you were
round
down at the
everybody
Oasis last night, well, it was present.
No, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
So Darren Hindelbrandt, our friend, Just Plain Darren, has got a bunch of shows coming up. He's at the Scale House Market Friday, June 27th from 5 to 8 p.m. He's at the Post Falls Brewery Company Saturday, June 20th from 6 to 9 p.m. Craft and Gather Sunday, June 29th, 5 to 8 p.m. Western Pleasure Guest Ranch Wednesday, July 2nd, 7:45 to 8:45 p.m. And then the QQ Sushi Kitchen on Thursday from July 3rd to 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. Just Plain Darren. Check him out. Look him up.
But there's nothing plain about him.
No,
Mm-mm.
phenomenal artist. Let's see here if I can get to my next thing. Oh, so Trixt tonight, Dylan and myself and our friend from the On Call Cowboys, Eli, are going to be hosting a jam session starting at 8 p.m. We're going to have a full PA and a light setup and
Nice.
bunch
That'll
of
be fun.
really loud guitar amplifiers. Well, no, not a bunch, but a couple. And
About 30 or 40.
yeah, right. The whole. It's funny too with jams. It's like we had an experience down there where everybody showed up, but they were all drummers. And so Dylan's like, he just got his drum set all dialed, and then there's these guys just like, basically, making love to his instrument, and he's just like, you could just see it on his face. He's like, oh.
I'm going to have to redo everything.
Yeah. I'm like, Dylan, is it really okay? And he's like, yes.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
I'm going to have to go to that. I have
Whatever.
a crush on Dylan. Did I tell you that?
You admit it right here.
Well, I'm not. Well, Daniel is very secure. I'm just saying it now. But boy, he's got beautiful eyes. I'm just like, oh, I just want to sit and look. Can I just listen to you?
He has that kind of movie star
Oh, he really does.
kind of, just natural, just the way he is. Like, and
Yeah,
it's just
he's-
funny. He's very genuinely a nice person.
It's got
Yeah.
a great
Right.
smile.
Yeah,
He's-
yeah.
He smiles with his whole face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good guy. I like
I
it.
had
And
fun-
he's a really good musician, and he
Oh my
listens
gosh,
well.
phenomenal.
Hmm
Yeah, very, very nice.
So
Is-
one
is
thing
he
that
single? Ladies?
he's very married. Yeah,
Okay, never
actually,
mind.
Rosemary's
Never
awesome
mind.
too.
Right, I was
mind.
gonna say
Yeah,
it's
they're
a
very happily married. Everybody.
very easy thing to say because we're both very taken, so it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what's interesting with the Red Elvises is I was actually able to reach out to the Big Dipper and got them lined up to play Saturday night. So
Yeah.
if you're
Oh,
in the
nice.
Spokane market and you can't quite find a way to get up to Chewelah for the Monday night show, head on down to the Big Dipper. They're going to be playing there with my big band, which my brother Silas is joining us,
Oh,
and
cool.
Old Souls and Antiques are going to be opening for them down there.
Wow.
Nice.
So yeah, I've definitely got both my bands lined up to open for the Red Elvises, which is kind of an interesting twist to the whole event.
Oh, yeah.
It's I've been
Or-
up here just promoting my butt off for the show at the Chewelah
You
Center
have
though.
been.
Yeah.
Or as a bonus, you could go see them in Spokane and then come see them
And come
again
up here. Yeah.
and see them.
So speaking of Dylan,
days.
he's like, we're going both nights. I was like, so awesome. Yeah, I was like, Dylan, I need you to bring because my amp's on the fritz. So I was like, hey man, would you bring that vintage amp down to the Big Dipper? I only need it for 2 songs, but would you bring it down so I can just have a really killer guitar tone down there? And he's all, oh yeah.
Good.
It's cool.
Yeah, he's so cool.
That's awesome.
I don't think I've ever met your brother Silas.
Yeah, he's around. He's at the jam sometimes. He likes to come up and play in the woods. He's like a big, like into mountain biking and riding his snowboard in the winter. And he's been a drummer around Spokane for a long time. Bands that he's been in are some of the bigger ones were Sugar Pig, Wicked Stitch,
That's a great name.
Wicked Stick.
5 Foot Thick, Satan in Yellow. Yeah, you got to look up these bands. And then he was in, a few other ones. Like I think there was one that was called The Sex Cells.
Oh,
Nice.
funny.
They were a punk band.
As in cells like money, or cells like your DNA, like
I think it's
CELL?
CELL. Yeah,
Nice.
sex
Okay.
cells. Yeah, and I'm trying to remember all that. I mean, Ocean's Divide was one that he was in. London Get Down.
Nice.
Yeah.
These are
Yeah, that
great
was actually
names.
so. London was one of his dog. He passed away a few years back, or a couple years ago, and that was like London was a border collie that always wanted to jump up on the couch. So you heard London Get Down a lot.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
right. So it just
I love
stuck,
it.
and that was their band. And so I was actually roommates with them at the time, and so when I get to go see their show, like they play all the songs, I remember them writing. So it's cool to be able to see them just
Yeah.
rock them out, and it's like, yeah, I remember them like
Nice.
working through that part and figuring it out. And,
That's cool.
yeah.
I love the story of the dog. It's kind of like
Yeah.
mine, except instead of Bo, but instead of Bo Get Down, it's Bo. Yeah, that's what we get a lot of.
Yeah, and so his big his new band is Munson, and so they just released an album it's on all platforms.
Oh,
So
you
look
got-
up Munson, Munson, and it's it's for a special listening audience. I would say
You got to be careful.
listen responsibly.
You don't want to get Munson out
Right?
there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean they might not have very much stuff on the internet because they are kind of a just a punk band or just a bunch of guys that like to get together once a week and play some tunes. But they
Yeah.
do like 2 shows a year, and yeah,
Nice.
they're a lot of fun.
Nice.
And so that's a different band. I don't know. There's another band named Munson too.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying
Yeah.
to. There's a bunch of them here.
Yeah.
Is it after the movie?
What?
I don't know. Some names are funny. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if there's actually some kind of connection there, or if it was just like, no, that's our name, Munson. It's like okay.
Wasn't that Kingpin with Woody
I'll
Harrelson?
just look up Spokane. It
Where
might help you narrow it down.
Munson became a term for something really bad happened to you when you have everything in life going for you and you just completely screw it up by making bad decisions.
Munson.
You get Munsoned.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably
Yeah, yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. What was interesting is Will and I were reminiscing about a show we played in a garage in Lincoln Heights, which is like 5 mile area of Spokane, and we go into this place and it's a nice like. What do you call those? The barn dominiums, where
Yeah,
it's got
yeah.
like a living quarters, but then also a big shop. And so we're in this big shop section of it, and my brother has his PA set up, and he's got my brother spends money on stuff, so he's got really nice subs and like big mains, and we get up there and we do 2 stones, 1 bird, but we're old souls and antiques still, because it's just Rob, Will, and I, and we didn't have Eric, so I'm playing electric bass, and like Rob's playing electric guitar, and Will's playing acoustic, and we go through our set, and they're all digging it, they're like bobbing their head or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when my brother's band gets up there, they're all sound checked and dialed, and they like blow the door off the place. You're in there, and it's like you can feel the heat coming off the speakers, right? And it was just so great. And like their fandom is just like all their buddies that
That's awesome.
like to ride bikes. Everybody like rode their bikes there and stuff. It was like the end of their little loop. It was a birthday party for one of the guys in the group, and
Yeah.
they just had a lot of fun. And so, and they're all they're older. They're like 3 to 6 years older than me, most of the members of the band. And then they have like one nephew who's like the young guy, and he's like, no, we can't play any leads. It's got to be all, it's
Right.
got to be all just punk rock, and that's all I play. I don't play lead, so they don't have
Yeah.
lead. They
Yeah.
just have like, yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. I'll show you a link. Yeah, Paula,
Cool.
You're having
I would-
trouble finding it.
I would
Yeah,
hear
I
it.
can't find them. Finding all these other things.
And they probably like it that way. They're
Right.
they're under the radar.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
hmm
So what else we got going on?
Well, what's really cool is the Munson album, they have basically like a generic looking beer can that just says Munson on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So they like to partake in some adult beverages from time to time.
Just a few.
Just a few.
Just a few.
So Bar J Bar and Pete Posey this Saturday, which is Saturday the 28th, at the Curlew Saloon, 7 p.m. Tickets for that are $15. Go check out the Curlew Saloon if you're up there looking for live music. Fired Up Brewery is having an open mic Saturday, the same night at 5 o'clock. So if you're looking to share some of your music with some people in Colville, go by Fired Up Brewing at 5 o'clock and play some tunes there. James Berkeley is a artist I've been reaching out.
Yes.
I'm working on trying to get him to do a show with us, maybe in August. I still haven't solidified a date, but he's been playing all over the place. He's almost as busy as Darren Hindlebrand. I mean, they're like neck and neck.
He's really good. He was at the farmer's market a few weeks ago.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool.
Really great musician.
Yeah, he is.
Nice guy, too. I got to talk to him for a little bit.
Yeah, excellent. And so he's going to be on the outdoor stage at the Linger Longer Lounge Saturday, June 28th, so this weekend as well at 6 p.m. And that looks like I've basically rattled through. Infusion, we've got at the Rusty Putter.
I was just going to say,
Don't forget about David.
We're saving that. We were saving the best for last.
Well, exactly. So Ole Johnson, David Jr., and Dave Sr., the Bergmans are coming back with Lynn Miner on drums, and they're going to be playing at the Rusty Putter. It looks like it's probably 6, I'm assuming here. Yep, 6 to 8 p.m. So go check that out. That's at the Chewelah Golf and Country Club.
Yeah, up at the Rusty Putter. That is tomorrow.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff happening tomorrow. That's very cool.
Yeah.
On June 5th, put this on your calendar. Craig McQueen and Will Lee are getting
July 5th.
Oh, did I say June? I'm
did
sorry.
say June, yeah.
Okay, so after the 4th of July, July 5th at the Fruitland Valley Winery. That'll be the first time I've played there, so I'm excited about that.
Now, where exactly is the Fruitland Valley Winery?
It is just south of Hunters.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure the number of the highway. I bet you Chase would know that.
Hey, Craig. Where exactly is Hunters? I'm bad.
You don't know where Hunters is?
You know,
we got to go on a road trip, man.
I recently, it's weird, at 40 some odd years old, I recently discovered I have dyslexia, which is a weird thing to discover this late in life. But part of that is a condition called directional dyslexia, meaning I have no sense of direction whatsoever.
There it is.
I can't remember where things are or where I am, or half the time I don't even know where I am.
So here you go, Chuck. It's on Highway 25 in between Davenport and Kettle Falls.
I do know where that is.
Okay.
Perfect.
So
I know I've been
it's
there.
near Two Rivers. Like Two Rivers is probably 20 minutes south, and Fruitland's about 5 minutes south. And then so like Fruitland's between Two Rivers Casino, or where Two Rivers Casino was, and where Hunters is. Yeah, it's if you go down to Springdale, you can cut over Springdale Hunters Road, which makes a lot of sense, but it's actually the slower way to go. If you go to Blue Creek or Addy and take Addy Sedonia Road, and that'll bring you over to Sedonia, and then you head south, head through Hunters, and then you'll end up in Fruitland, and that's where we're going to be playing.
Very cool.
So,
now you have directions.
yeah,
I'm still trying to put this all into relationship to where we are here.
So if you wanted to contribute to the Northern Light Spotlight, please find the group on Facebook and look for our weekly post and add a comment, and I will plug it on our Friday morning show.
All right. Well, we have Chase out there getting all set up and ready to walk in, waiting to get in here. So let's go ahead and take our break. We're going to listen to some news, and we'll be right back after this with Chase Champagne. You're listening to KCHW 102.7. Right here with our KCHW Morning Show. We'll be right back, everybody.
It's 8:21.
Your KCHW morning show is made possible by donations from
Colville Toyota. Colville Toyota, located at 160 West 3rd Avenue in Colville, offers new and used vehicle sales and service. Vehicle sales is open 8:30 a.m. till 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday, with a Toyota Express Maintenance Center open 7:30 a.m. till 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. More information on Colville Toyota's vehicle inventory and services is available at colvilletoyota.com. A small-town dealership with a big heart.
and by Chihuahua Flooring.
Chihuahua Flooring at 214 East Clay in the 3rd Street Mall offers a wide variety of products including carpet, ceramic and porcelain tile, vinyl and laminate planks, and vinyl sheet flooring. Chihuahua Flooring carries products for both commercial businesses and residential homes, including brands like National Flooring, Del Tile, Mannington, and Mohawk. They also offer blind repair. For more information, you can visit online at chihuahuaflooring.com, call 509-935-8021, or via email at chihuahuaflooring@gmail.com.
This is KCHW 102.7.
The Public News Service Daily Newscast, June the 27th, 2025. I'm Mike Clifford. As Senate Republicans eye the finish line on President Donald Trump's massive tax and immigration proposal, there may be one more obstacle standing in the way of what they hope to be era-defining legislation, their GOP colleagues in the House. That from the Washington Post. They report the Senate has transformed key provisions from the House-passed version of the Beautiful Bill Act, a measure that would extend trillions of dollars in tax cuts, spend hundreds of billions on immigration, enforcement, and defense, and cut spending on social benefit and anti-poverty programs. The Post notes to many House Republicans the legislation now looks unrecognizable and no longer adheres to compromises lawmakers in the lower chamber secured just 1 month ago. And this week, the law guaranteeing same-sex marriage equality turned 10, but advocates are concerned about the growing number of threats it now faces.
A decade after the Supreme Court's historic Obergefell versus Hodges decision, most Americans are on board with gay marriage. While President Donald Trump has never stated outright opposition, members of his conservative base do, and with a conservative Supreme Court majority. Justices Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas have also signaled they'd like to revisit the issue. Jenny Pizer with Lambda Legal says despite pressure from the far right, ending same-sex marriage isn't something that has public support.
I think what's key for people to have in mind at the moment is there's no case in front of the Supreme Court pending for court review at this moment. And the Supreme Court can't review a case and consider a case without there being a case. And there is none at this point.
I'm Alex Gonzalez reporting.
In the U.S. alone, there are about 823,000 married gay couples, according to the Williams Institute at UCLA Law School. Since this week's Supreme Court decision, almost 600,000 same-sex couples have married legally. And starting July 1, South Dakota will allow interpreters to accompany driver's license applicants who have limited English proficiency during the road portion of their test.
The new law is meant for non-commercial driver's licenses and was adopted this spring with bipartisan support. Republican Representative Jana Hunt, who also is a traveling nurse, was the main sponsor on the House side. She says she was motivated after working with Filipino nurses trying to integrate into local society. And in her hometown of Dupree, Hunt says transportation barriers are a glaring issue for fellow Filipinos serving as teachers.
A lot of them are walking in the middle of winter, however far they have to walk to get to their job.
Over the past decade, South Dakota's Filipino population has grown by nearly 75%. Under the new law, the Department of Public Safety has to approve the interpreter, and the applicant is responsible for recruiting them and paying their fee. I'm Mike Moen.
This is Public News Service. A process sometimes known as prison gerrymandering inflates the population numbers in voting districts where prisons are located, which affects the results when states draw legislative districts after the census. But groups say there's an easy fix for states like North Carolina.
The 3 most prison gerrymandered districts in North Carolina have incarcerated populations of close to 4%. Mike Wessler says a U.S. Census Bureau policy means people are counted in the wrong place.
It counts them as residents of a prison cell rather than in their home community. communities. When states like North Carolina then use this census data to draw new legislative districts every 10 years, they inadvertently give disproportionate political power to communities that have prisons.
Gerrymandered districts in North Carolina include District 32, where a federal correctional facility is located. According to the Prison Policy Initiative, only about 4% of people incarcerated by the Federal Bureau of Prisons are from North Carolina, meaning the majority of people in the facility are not even from the state. I'm Eric Tegedoff reporting.
And neighborhoods in Virginia with a higher proportion of people of color tend to be several degrees hotter than others during summer months, according to a new report.
Neighborhoods with individual cities exhibited stark temperature differences, sometimes by as much as 15 degrees. Todd Lookingbill with the University of Richmond says he studied intra-urban heat islands, or temperature differences in neighborhoods across one city. Hotter neighborhoods commonly have fewer trees and surfaces that water can't seep through, like roads and roofs. He explains that while heat islands have been identified in bigger cities, heat disparities also exist in smaller cities and towns. Those hotspots were frequently found in historically segregated neighborhoods with more people of color.
We did find in 4 of our cities that had been historically redlined that those areas that were redlined and were denied kind of housing loans historically, those areas continue to be some of the warmest areas in those towns and cities. Those environmental injustices seem to be persistent through time.
I'm Simone Perez.
Finally, nearly 30% of Gen Z college students decided where they would attend school based at least partly on political reasons, according to a new report.
The education consulting firm EAB found 14% of prospective students removed a school from their consideration list for being too conservative, and 12% did so for schools they deemed too liberal. Pam Royal with EAB says a key finding is that prospective students are looking for college choices that reflect their values.
They're eliminating certain institutions that they believe are misaligned with their political values, either because they're too conservative or they're too liberal, they're in a blue state or a red state.
These incoming students are part of what some call the anxious generation because of their increased mental health struggles. Royal says they tend to have a greater sense of anxiety, largely because of social media and pressure to make decisions in an environment with competing messages. I'm Kathleen Shannon.
This is Mike Clifford. Thank you for ending your week with Public News Service. Member and listener supported. Find our trust indicators at publicnewsservice.org.
For the Daily Yonder and Public News Service, this is the news from rural America. A Biden appointee to the Federal Communications Commission is sounding alarms about attacks on the First Amendment, including free speech and the free press. Julia Tilton reports on a national tour by Ana Gomez.
Gomez is the lone Democrat on the traditionally independent FCC. On her listening tour's third stop in rural Fleming Neon, Kentucky, Gomez said the Trump White House is trying to use the agency to censor media organizations and control free speech.
I felt the need to start taking our message in defense of our fundamental First Amendment rights and freedoms outside of Washington.
She says the administration is directing the FCC to use control of broadcast licenses to demand favorable coverage and force personnel decisions at private media companies. But Gomez says politics can't prevent folks from fighting for their liberties.
And the way that we do that is by being aware and by speaking up and pushing back.
I'm Julia Tilton.
A small northern New Mexico community is relying on 300 days of sunshine to become a clean energy model. The village of Cuesta, population 2,000, is building an innovative green hydrogen plant to act as a battery. Lynn Skull leads the town's economic development. She says Taos County's Kit Carson Electric Cooperative paved the way by exploring solar nearly 25 years ago.
Right now, we're 100% daytime solar, and the green hydrogen project would provide 100% solar-powered energy. That is very forward-thinking for our country. Nobody else is doing that yet.
Co-op CEO Luis Reyes says the hydrogen plant will store solar energy for when generating capacity drops at night or due to weather.
Our primary focus is how do we get a model so that other co-ops can do that safely.
The plant is funded mostly by the USDA and would make Taos County 100% renewable powered. Texas leads the nation in rural hospital closures, with 26 in the past 15 years. And a new study by the Center for Healthcare Quality and Payment Reform says 2/3 of those remaining are in jeopardy due to lower patient volumes and higher operating costs than urban hospitals. John Henderson with the Texas Organization of Rural and Community Hospitals says closure of a healthcare facility can be a life and death matter.
When a rural hospital closes, the data shows that the community mortality rate increases by 7 or 8%.
Texas is the second largest state and home to 156 rural hospitals. Finally, if the corn is knee-high, it must be nearly the 4th of July. Get out and celebrate the nation's 249th birthday. For the Daily Yonder and Public News Service, I'm Roz Brown. For more rural stories, visit dailyyonder.com.
KCHW 102.7 Northern Lights Public Radio is owned and operated by the Northeast Washington Community Radio Guild, a licensed 501c3 charitable organization. As such, we can accept donations and in return offer a tax deduction. Along with grants and general donations from our supporters, the majority of KCHW funding comes from the people we serve in our community. Those funds come from two sources. Sponsorships of our on-air programming, those are the announcements you hear at the top and bottom of each hour on the radio, and through the memberships of the Northeast Washington Community Radio Guild. Right now, we'd like to take a moment to thank a few of our gold level and business level members. You too can support Northern Lights Public Radio with an annual gift, just like these businesses and nonprofits.
Acres United Drug, the Chewelah Arts Guild, the Dragonfly Wellness Center, the Chewelah Chamber of Commerce, Edward Jones, Deer Park, the Chewelah Creative District, Artill's Mountain Saw and Tractor, the Chewelah Farmers Market, JMT Petroleum, Chewelah Flooring, the Lane Mountain Company, the Chewelah Golf and Country Club, and the Rusty Putter Bar and Grill, mailboxes and more, the Chewelah Valley Lions Club, Dawson Trucking Incorporated, and DTI Ready Mix, New Health, serving Chewelah and Colville, the Colville Valley Animal Sanctuary, the Nordlig Motel, Chewelah, PACA, and the Chewelah Center for the Arts, Richmond Logging, SETI's Ace Hardware, the Chewelah Independent, and the Trails Inn Gallery.
KCHW 102.7 Northern Lights Public Radio. We are the music education station.
Silence. Don't be silent. Let it out, Paula. Let it out.
Won't be silent for long.
We're back. That kid started early.
Oh,
she's got her coffee now. We're going to double it.
Right?
I accidentally forgot to stop the song. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the KCHW Morning Show. We are live again, streaming to you. We have myself, Chuck Ritchie. We have the lovely Paula Randall back again. Craig McQuain in the studio with us, and today we are welcoming our very special guest, Chase Champagne. Good morning, Chase. How you doing, bud?
Good morning. Doing real good.
Outstanding. Glad to have you here. Is this your first time on the show?
I can't remember what show I did with the Firebottle Brothers years ago.
Yeah.
It might have been the same show. It was kind of early in the morning.
The morning show, yeah.
So eat the mic almost.
Eat the mic.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Put that
Obviously,
sucker right
it's been
in
a
your
while
mouth.
because I forgot how to do it.
So I'm guessing that was probably with Scott then, right?
No, I can't remember her name.
It was a girl.
Would have been Jean. Might have been Jean.
Anyways.
It was a long time ago.
Michelle, maybe?
Michelle.
Oh,
that
Michelle.
sounds right.
Oh, okay, yeah. So about 3 years ago.
Yes,
Yeah,
3 years
perfect,
ago.
Perfect. Yep.
Thank you for jogging my memory.
No problem. Michelle, that makes sense. All right. Well, again, thank you for coming. So what do you have coming up? I know you're going to be on to talk about the Yep Kenham celebration, and I know you got a bunch of other stuff coming on. So do you want to lead in with that, or do you want to tell us a little about yourself and your music history?
Sure, we can lead in first with what's going on, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Yep Canham Celebration, that's July 18th through 20th. We're playing the 19th from 1 p.m. to 2:45 with my band, the On Call Cowboys. And with that band, Coming up right away is 4th of July in Northport. We're going to be Aubrey Richmond's backup band. She's a professional fiddle player down in L.A. She toured with Shooter Jennings for a while.
Nice.
I met her up in Onion Creek a few weeks ago, and we hit it off, and so we're going to back her up at 5 o'clock, and then around 8:15 p.m. on the 4th of July before the fireworks, she's going to play with our band. Going to be a good time. And then
that's great.
July 9th, I think it is, or July 12th. July 12th in Hunters Bar. You guys talking about it?
Yeah, we talked.
Highway 25.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And I always like to, mention to people that, go to Hunters and support Jesse, because he's a big supporter of live music, and he's been that way for a long time. He's a drummer himself. His sister is a phenomenal hip-hop artist, and she's doing a lot of amazing things, like starting her own production company. A label, I guess it was for blind musicians, and so it's just so cool to see that happen. So go support and catch Chase down at Hunter's Bar and Grill. It'll be a great show.
Heck yeah,
yeah. Hunters has always been one of my favorite places to play.
Nice.
If not my favorite place to play, it's always a great time. Jesse's really cool.
Yeah, and
That's awesome.
in summertime, it's like you drive through there at different times of the year, and it's like you couldn't even find a tumbleweed or anything. Like there's just nothing happening. But then summertime happens, and it's like there's foot traffic.
That's awesome.
There's like a bunch of people out in front of the place.
I
and
remember
it's like
when the Firebottle Brothers, like 4 years ago, maybe when we first played there, we're like, Hunters, how's this gonna be? This is in the middle of nowhere. It was such a big party. I remember we were playing, and there's people all the way to the back, and suddenly the door opens, and this horse starts coming through the front door. They got the horse out before he caused too much trouble, got spooked. But that was our first introduction to Hunters, and
that's awesome.
Well, and I was saying, hey, the Wild West wasn't that long ago, and in Hunters, it's still the Wild West.
It reminds me of in Alaska, there's a place called Talkeetna, and there's nothing going on there except for the summertime. Then there's live music every night, everywhere, chock full of people, and they do the big annual Talkeetna Bluegrass Festival, and it's 150, 200,000 people go every year.
Wow.
It's been there for, they've been doing that festival for probably 40, 50 years.
Where is that?
In Talkeetna, Alaska.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's just this massive bluegrass festival that's it's rowdy, and it's wild, and it's one of those.
Imagine all those people that live remote like that, and they just were picking all the time on their banjo or whatever, and getting their
dying to get to the bluegrass festival to show off their chops.
Yeah,
it's one of those places where the security is run by the Hells Angels.
Yeah.
You know the type.
That is awesome. Well, speaking of musicians and incredible talent, what is that I just heard? What are you doing?
Oh, I did a little bluegrass run.
Nice.
Yo.
Bluegrass is my true love.
Yeah. Are you gonna play some for us this morning, or?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think he's ready for it.
I was gonna say, I'm waiting for
yeah.
music.
Well, so I guess maybe I should just lead in. I got a few originals and stuff, but with my band and when I play solo, we have a real diverse selection of covers here. I'll remember to eat the mic and start thinking about what I want to say and then looking down. Here we go. But I really like country music, which is interesting because a lot of my originals aren't country music. The songs, when I write them, it's something totally different. But maybe I'll play you one of my favorite songs to cover to start out with.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us what you're going to play.
Also, I'm playing this on I got a couple guitars to show you guys today.
Nice.
Because I like talking about them. This is I think it's 12 or 13 years old at this point. I got it for $100 at Guitar Center. It is a Yamaha with a solid Sitka spruce top. It's actually been sitting in my truck cab all week.
Ooh.
But that's kind of how it started looking like this. It's been to, I think, 7 barter fairs and
nice
3 Dead and Company shows and tons of camping trips, and it stays in my truck all summer, and it still plays and feels amazing.
Nice.
Right.
All the way up and down the neck. I don't know what it is, but she's been pretty faithful to me.
Yeah, Yamaha makes good guitars.
That's awesome.
Yeah. This sounds
Nice.
good.
I've got an old Applause. It was an old student guitar made by Ovation in the 70s, I think. It's got this big, deep, fat, wide body to it. And I had that in high school, and I would leave that in the back of the car. And it would just, the thing is so full of cracks. It's got that plastic body, and it's just all cracked up, but sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And you can tune that once, it stays in tune for years.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
No, that's what I noticed with this thing. Even
Yeah.
it stayed in tune with itself. I just tuned it up, but it went down to like the key of D sharp.
Right. Yeah, I just found 432 by itself.
Yep, exactly.
It's just like, no, this is where you got to be. Get grounded, man.
All right. Well, I'm going to play you one of my favorite songs. I kind of go through cycles of having really favorite songs that just stay in my head for a while. This one's Poncho and Lefty by Townes Van Zandt.
Nice.
Living on the road, my friend, is gonna keep you free and clean. Now you wear your skin like iron and your breath's as hard as kerosene. Weren't your mama's only boy, but her favorite one, it seems. She began to cry when you said goodbye and sank into your dreams. Poncho was a bandit boy, his horse as fast as polished steel. He wore his gun outside his pants for all the honest world to feel. Poncho met his match, you know, in the deserts down in Mexico. Nobody heard his dying word, but that's the way it goes. All the federales say could have had him any day. They only let him hang around out of kindness, I suppose. Lefty, he can't sing the blues all night long like he used to. The dust that Poncho bit down south ended up in Lefty's mouth. The day they laid poor Poncho low, Lefty split for Ohio, where he got the bread to go. There ain't nobody knows. All the federales say could have had him any day. They only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose. Poets tell how Poncho fell. Lefty's living in a cheap motel. The desert's quiet and Cleveland's cold, so the story ends, we're told. Poncho needs your prayers, it's true, but save a few for Lefty too. He only did what he had to do, and now he's growing old. All the federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him go so wrong out of kindness, I suppose. A few great federales say could have had him any day. They only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, no speaking. Continue playing.
That was fantastic, Chase.
Thank you so much, guys.
That's what I love that song so much.
Oh,
that is
that
such a
is-
wonderful song.
Yeah.
And no, that I've heard Willie's version mostly.
Yeah.
Is that one of his originals, or is that?
That's so Townes Van Zandt wrote that song.
Okay.
Yeah. Wrote a lot of songs that kind of were covered by people like Willie and
Yeah.
Gained popularity that way, and Towns never really broke out until later, and mostly posthumously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He was a real troubled soul, but wrote the kind of songs that only he could write. You know,
Right.
That's just haunting.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, what was interesting is I heard that one of his songs, and it's like it was a newer band that was playing the song, and I'm like going, that is not their song. Like, that's a cover. And then so I had to deep dive and figure out where that song, and then it was a Townes Van Zandt song.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember. It's all minor chords. I remember that, but it's
right. Yeah. He and Blaze Foley. You guys heard of him? You know that song "Clay Pigeons"? Like,
I'm not.
I'm
No, you should
going
sing it.
down to the Greyhound station. You know that one?
I don't know.
Okay, well I gotta play it.
Okay, let's go ahead and play us another song.
Okay.
So I've heard Chase being compared to a human jukebox, kind of like our friend Will Lee, where just like songs just keep popping. Hey, there's another song. There's another song. Hey, yeah, have you heard this song? It's like
I love it.
It's a lot of fun. This is John Prine covered this song, and most people attribute it to John Prine, but Blaze Foley wrote it, and Blaze Foley and Townes Van Zandt were good friends and wrote a lot of amazing songs together. And so I've had friends introduce me to their music, and I'm like, wow, I had no idea it was these guys. And I try to spread the word as much as I can.
Yeah.
We're happy to help you spread it.
But Clay Pigeons, it's funny. This is one my good friend Shay Corey, he's requested this song to me multiple times. I think 2 years in a row, every time I've run into him. And I would always forget the words. I can remember so many songs, and this one just escaped me. And after the last time, I said, man, I promise you the next time I see it, I'm going to get it right. So like 2 weeks ago, I finally drilled it into my head. So
Nice.
Let's see if I can. Now I'm getting it mixed up with another John Prine song. Okay. I'm going down to the Greyhound station, gonna get a ticket to ride. Gonna find that lady with 2 or 3 kids and sit down by her side. Ride till the sun comes up and down around about 2 or 3 times. Smoking cigarettes in the last seat. Try to hide my sorrow from the people I meet and get along with it all. Go down where people say y'all. Sing a song with a friend. Change the shape I'm in. And get back in the game. Start playing again. I'd like to stay, but I might have to go to start over again. Might go back down to Texas. Might go somewhere I've never been. And get up in the morning and go out at night, and I don't have to go home. Get used to being alone. Change the words to this song and start singing again. I'm tired of running around looking for answers to questions that I already know. I could build me a castle of memories just to have somewhere to go. Count the days and the nights that it takes to get back in the saddle again. Feed the pigeons some clay, turn the night into day. Start talking again when I know what to say. I'm going down to the Greyhound station, gonna get a ticket to ride. Gonna find that lady with 2 or 3 kids and sit down by her side. Ride till the sun comes up and down around about 2 or 3 times. Smoking cigarettes in the last seat. Try to hide my sorrow from the people I meet and get along with it all. Go down where people say all. Feed the pigeons some clay. Turn the night into day. And start talking again when I know what to say.
Sweet, man. Yeah.
You can see that one's still kind of fresh in the brain.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shay.
So Daniel Randall says, sounds sweet. And Corey says, Hunters has a great community. Eli mentioned that I'm his favorite native to Chewelah and that he is a Chewelah transplant and he'll keep his roots right here.
Nice.
So he loves our show. And that's your bandmate from On Call Cowboys.
Yeah, Eli.
Yeah. And Amanda Moon says, love this Chasing Katana. I've been playing this song every morning for a month. You guys are so synced. Maybe that's the first one you did.
Yeah. No, I remember we got done with our show in Republic at the Minor after Prospector Days, and we just loaded all the gear into the truck, and Eli, we call him Katana, depending on what kind of hippie shirt he's wearing.
Right. Yeah.
Or the pink Crocs. But but I go back and I hear music blasting from Katana's car, and it's Poncho and Lefty, and I'm like, man, I got good bandmates.
Right?
Bandmates got good taste in music.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can kind of see what kind of wheelhouse we're in. Although we're pretty diverse, those are some sweet singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
Well, and so
acoustic.
like Eli and I, we actually met around a campfire at Tenasket Barter Fair. That's the first time I ever played guitar with him, and I just immediately, like with you, kindred spirits, right? We knew, it was just like, I mean, I remember, just like vividly that moment meeting him, and then life, meeting him through other circles and other things, and then playing some music and being able to just sit there and talk music with him and not even really pick up a guitar. We could just work. We could like talk through a song, whether it's the lyrics or talking about the chords, or talking about theory, whatever. And it's just like, hey, wait a minute, I thought we were getting together to play guitars, but we're just talking about music.
No, that's
and
fun.
it's just so funny.
I think I met both of you guys separately, and when I met you, I was like, man, Craig talks about music the same way Eli does.
Yeah.
And then you two got together in front of me. There it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like, man, this is so not productive, but we sure are having fun. Like, we're just like smiling ear to ear, like, you understand this language we're talking. Yeah,
it's great because I don't know theory at all. And
having a bass player that
and he knows so much theory, and he can just tell me that everything we're doing makes sense. I'm like, good,
good, okay,
right, yeah. He's like, yeah, the diminished chord you use there is really great, and he's like, and you're like, okay, like I'm gonna keep doing it then.
So you mentioned a little bit ago, a few seconds ago, that your music is very diverse, and I've heard of you with On Call Cowboys. It's a lot different than what we just heard there. You flow in a lot more jam band type stuff.
Yeah.
And like right now, your voice there was so beautiful, so warm.
Yeah.
And
thanks.
effortless.
It's morning time.
Yeah. But the country versus the jam band thing, I think maybe a lot of people do know, maybe a lot of people don't know. There's a lot of roots of country in like the Grateful Dead and all those really famous jam bands. A lot of that a lot of those people on the side, they play bluegrass, they play country. I mean, Jerry Garcia is well known for working with David Grisman and
his first instrument was the banjo.
Yeah, and it's almost so ingrained in the communities, the bluegrass community, the jam band community, the music communities. It's so closely intertwined with each other, and I love seeing that fusion of the old and the new and the bluegrass and that country vibe with.
The Grateful Dead. I got into them when I was, I think, 14 or 15. And
as we all did.
Kind of blew the doors open on what I thought music was. Got really into that. But, you go back to the Grateful Dead's first few albums, very country. But I was raised on country music. My grandfather, my earliest memories is him waking up at 5 or 6 in the morning and making everybody cereal and chopping up bananas and putting blueberries in it and having like Hank Williams playing on the radio.
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
Yep. But no, the jam band thing, I think that kind of goes along with the On Call Cowboys. Eli I'm just going to call him Katana because that's how I want to keep saying Katana. But we started out with Eli, and I'm better qualified than
Yeah,
you're talking about the same person.
I met him as Katana, so
Okay,
that's fine.
So Katana is actually the only other core member of the On Call Cowboys, because I was hosting open mics and jams, and he showed up and stuck with it. And there was actually this guy named Dave who was coming to our jams, and he was so into it, and he disappeared for a few weeks, and I was like, man, I hope Dave's okay. And he came back, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. Where were you? And he said, oh, I was out being a cowboy. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, he says, yeah, my friends called me, and I was driving cattle. I said, so you were an on-call cowboy, huh? And
That's
Katana looked at
awesome.
me and said, hey, that's a good band name.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
Yeah, because we kind of have just called on a lot of people, throughout, even when we have a core group, a whole bunch of people come through and jam with us. Since we started playing at jams, playing just whatever song anybody knew and listening in the moment, trying to keep up and figure out how to play it and then jam it out, a very diverse range of sound, but every iteration of it with the different members we've had, the sound has kind of changed a little bit. And actually now the most recent one, my friend Corey is playing Telecaster, and I know him because I used to go over to his house once a week and pick bluegrass with him.
Okay.
Nice.
And he's a really great bluegrass picker, but he also is a really good Telecaster player. But he's really reserved and plays like he looks and sounds like a professional Telecaster, like country musician.
Right.
And
Where it makes it sound like a steel guitar, and
he's got all the tricks,
Right.
So now our songs kind of start and end.
Where before they were just kind of jams, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good having those, the intros, and then the outro, like having it dialed in, because that's, everything in between is like, hey, this is our, this is our free spot, the part of the canvas where we can paint, but the rest of it, it's like that's the, the foundation or the border, or like the,
Exactly.
that's holding it all together, that's making it a piece, right?
Right. We're exploring all different flavors, and now we've reserved like 2 songs towards the end of our set where we're like, okay, it's time to get crazy.
Right. Experimental aircraft time. Yeah. Well, we're going flying.
You gotta let the audience know when it's time for the applause.
Right?
Yeah. Just keep those applause coming.
We're waiting.
Yeah. It's time to do some picking. Corey did mention that she loves hearing you play.
Right.
He is such a well-rounded musician with a magnetic personality. And then Carrie Gibbs says, wow, a great way to start our Friday.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so, yeah.
Wow, I'm so glad people are enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm having a blast, and it's always fun when my good time turns into a bunch of other people's good
Yeah.
Well, and I have to tease you with On Call Cowboys. Do you ever cover the Rhinestone Cowboy song? On Call Cowboys.
You're not the, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're not the only one to say that, but usually we do don't let your babies grow up to be on-call cowboys.
That's awesome.
Because they never stay home and they're always alone, even with someone they love.
Nice.
So Daniel, who is Paula's significant other, mentioned on our theory talk. Theory is cold and mathematical, but sometimes it helps us define the elusive in our music, or define the elusive in our music. So that's
a good way of putting
it.
it.
Oh, I like that.
You've jammed with Daniel before. He comes down with the trombone and the bass, and
face melting trombone.
Yes,
Yes.
Daniel.
Oh, yes. Oh, he's going to be so glad you said that. Yes.
Oh man, it's usually one of the main highlights of the Sunday jams. Like, just breaking out the brass.
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
So she's, and we're gonna run a little over time here if you guys are okay with that.
Yeah,
'cause we got you in here a little bit late, and I don't want you to drive all the way down.
Are we
here for
running
nothing.
out of time already?
A little bit, yeah. It's
amazing how time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
It's gone by really fast. But we talked a little bit late going in, but we can run a few minutes over. So you come from a musical family, right? Do you come from a musical family?
Yeah, my mom actually played piano for the Royal Conservatory in Canada.
Wow.
So yes, then.
Yes.
And my dad, he was a guitarist and played in bands his whole life.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just a bit.
Just a
little bit.
And
This is a smidge.
you're not exactly an old timer yet, right? How do you mind? Can you tell us how
I'm
old
24.
you are? 24.
I was gonna say you look like a youngin to be talking about all these amazing artists and these writers.
And from what I've seen, I saw you on I had you on Facebook a little while before I met you. I'd seen some of your videos, and kind of the first time I saw you play, some of the videos I've seen of you online, blown away that you're as advanced as you are at such a young age. You feel like an old soul, Craig.
Well, so yeah, interesting you say that, but so yeah,
I wasn't one of the antiques.
yeah, absolutely. Well, and so when I first met Chase, I actually on a whim saw that out at Shore Acres they were having live music. It didn't say who, but it just said live music, and I'm like going, well, I'm not doing anything tonight. I've never been out to Shore Acres. I'm going to drive out there and check it out. And I show up there and I hear this like. I hear the music from afar, and I'm like, kind of in that, what is like, kind of, when you're going into something new, you kind of have a little bit of anxiety because you don't really know what to expect. It's like if I know what's coming up, I'm usually pretty good about it. But if not, I'm like, but then like the music hit me, and I'm like going, that sounds a lot like the Dave Matthews Band does when I'm outside of like the Gorge. I'm like, I need to go down there and check this out. Like, and it was just so cool because it was just such lively music, and they had it was. The Fire Bottle Brothers, and you had like a 7-piece band or something. There was 6-piece, yeah. It sounded like there's
a fiddle and the sax and 2 guitars.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun, and
Daniel,
a bunch of people
a fiddle
having
and a sax and 2 guitars. I'm just plugging my husband right there. He's gonna call you.
But I gotta admit, I'm like, who's this kid playing guitar? You know what I mean? Because you were, at that, it's like this is like, you obviously. Grew really fast from that point to now.
You mentioned that. That's actually the reason why that band, and particularly Dylan Yeager, he owned the Pub and Grub in Kettle Falls, and I think I was 18 or 19, and I saw their house band playing at Crandall's in Kettle, and I went in and I introduced myself, and I went in. Dylan figured out a way to make it kind of okay for me to hang out in a certain part of the bar and play music.
Right.
Even though I wasn't quite of age yet, and I'm so grateful he did. And he just loved to jam, and he kept on handing me solos, even though I really didn't know how to solo at the time. But I kept trying.
Yeah.
And over and over and over, kept trying, and that's how I learned how to play guitar. Lead. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Because you're just like, hey, no, we need somebody to do it, so you're going to figure it out.
Because he had the patience, even when I sucked, to be like, good job, Chase. Keep going. And so now I really try to carry the same on to other people. I really love trying to create spaces for other musicians to, it's a different experience playing with a band.
Oh, yeah.
I found out the first time I played with a drummer, like, whoa, I got some work to do.
Well, right. Well, and I mean, you've been playing since you picked up a guitar when you were younger. I'm sure.
I started on the banjo, actually.
Oh, okay.
And I think I was 12 or 13 when I decided to
Right, because I see
chords
some
on the
videos
guitar.
of you when you were quite a bit younger and you hadn't played with the band yet, but you were doing like some obscure covers like Zeppelin and different things, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah.
I was going to say...
So that's where the old soul thing comes in, is that, he's been at it for, he's young, but he's been doing it for a while. You know what I mean?
I
It's
played
not
banjo with Old Souls and Antiques. Was in a band with you, Craig.
Yeah. Well, I know that's the Old Souls and Antiques. Yeah. He was our banjo player for there while we had Eric in the band. So we had a 5-piece arrangement. That was fun. That was a 5-piece string band.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And speaking of videos of you, I've seen some video. There's some videos circulating of you online, pre-beard, and pre-beard, and you definitely look. That's when you can see. Okay, this isn't an old grizzled old country player. This is a young kid.
I'm right here, Chuck.
No, right? You don't look like Craig.
It's okay, we still love you.
But I loved it. It was so. I think were you singing? I think I remember seeing you with like a family member or something. Was it or
probably my little sister?
Yeah, it was your sister. That's what it was.
We've played at the Doctors concerts in Colville.
Yeah.
Every year for quite a few years now.
But even then, I remember seeing the you as a kid, and they're like, "Man, this kid is really, really good. Holy cow!" And then now you're older, and your sound is so mature.
Well,
thank you.
And it's amazing, yeah.
What I was going to say, what I love is that he's all set. He's got his capo on. It's on the right. He's ready to go. There's a song in mind.
Better play you guys an original or two before I go.
Yeah.
This one's speaking of Dylan Yeager, he and I wrote a few songs together. He is a really good songwriter, And it was when I'd first met him, and he said, "Chase, I got a song and I wrote it, and you're meant to sing it. This is your song,
Nice.
but I don't know. There's some things that have to be worked out." And we sat down with it for like 20 minutes or so, worked out the whole song, and we recorded it with the Firebottle Brothers, and then kind of went away from it for a while, but we're starting to play it again with the On Call Cowboys.
Nice.
It's a nice, simple country tune. It's honest.
Yeah.
It's called My Lonely Mind. Oh, my lonely mind, it keeps me looking at the ground. My ears are filled with the lonely sound. Oh, my lonely mind has got me down. In my lonely mind, I see you laying over there, the sunlight dripping through your hair, and longing is the light that's in my eye. Never had a feeling that I dreamed for, never had a dream quite like you. If I raise my eyes and see stardust in the sky, it's a dream that might come true. Oh, my lonely mind, I'm drowning in the water, red like wine. Sun sinking slowly to evening time. These habits occupy my lonely mind. Smoke rising over yonder, I feel a burning in my soul. She walks across the water, how I struggle below. I must break surface, born a new man, feel the love in her hand, and leave behind my lonely mind. Oh, my lonely mind, it keeps me staring at the ground. My ears are filled with the lonely sound. Oh, my lonely mind has got me down.
Woo! Nice.
That's very cool.
That was great.
I
Holy cow.
love that. It's not the bridge. I'm not the musical theory person, but the doon 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 doon. I love that part.
Doop 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 doop.
Yeah, yep, for sure.
I would buy that album.
So that one is actually on Spotify.
Is it? Okay.
With on the Firebottle Brothers EP that we released. We
And
went
it's
into the
Lonely
studio.
Mind?
Lonely Mind.
Lonely
Yeah.
Mind. Very
Firebottle
cool.
Brothers. You got time for one more?
We do. I was just gonna.
Oh, and I just wanted to mention that the Fired Up Pizza Jam is going to be hosted by Dino. Dino by him. He's gonna be the host because my the brats are coming with me down to the Big Dipper, so they're not going to be at the jam. But Dino's still having the jam, so definitely go down to Fired Up Pizza on Sunday and jam with Dino from 4 to 7. It's going to be a fun time.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And what's the band with Lonely Mind again?
That was the Fire Bottle Brothers.
Fire Bottle.
And the Fire Bottle Brothers, you guys aren't playing anymore.
That's done.
It's the On-Call Cowboys now.
The On-Call Cowboys.
Nice. I love it.
So Daniel mentioned Rhinestone Cowboy was the first song played by the Bovine Aviators. We did it at a talent show in 1975 at the elementary school in New Hampshire. And
Nice.
Eli mentions, I saw Chase Champagne perform on banjo at the Chewelah Farmers Market about 12 years ago. His mom used to shop my soap booth. Okay, yeah. So
That's awesome.
Katana used to sell soap.
Yeah, I remember seeing Katana when I was like 12 years old.
Right.
And my mom would talk to him, and now we're in a band together.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's awesome.
What's so cool about Katana is that he's just so like genuinely excited about music, and then to be playing with you, Chase. I mean, he's elated. Like he's like, I love my band. You know, you just see him.
I love it really breaks, because sometimes I have a very perfectionist mind, and I can get very serious about like how things need to be, and like in my head about self-critiquing. And Katana's energy is just so good and positive, and it really balances things out. It would not be half as fun for me without him.
Well, what's awesome is I've invited him to come out and jam at Tricks as our bass player, and he's a great jam bass player because he knows so many songs, right? And he understands theory. So on a whim, he can just change the feel of the song. I'll be like, hey, let's go reggae, and I don't actually say let's go reggae. I just start chunking, and then all of a sudden the bass line goes with it.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And he understands how to hold
He's
it down.
Watching and listening.
Yes, yeah.
It's funny. We're really would dichotomy be the right word? I dance around a lot on stage. I'm moving, and he stands very still.
Yes.
And he's very focused, and then I know he's really having a good time because he'll start moving around.
Yeah.
Okay, we
yeah, we're in sync now. Yeah.
I want to play you guys one more.
Yeah. I was gonna say if you'll play us out, let me just do our little break here at the end and close out the show, and then just go ahead and play us out of the show.
Okay, cool.
And so if you want to stay tuned right here tonight on KCHW, we have tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. Old Man Mark bringing us the best classic rock and more. Then from 8 to 10, we are trapped in the psychedelic era with The Hermit. And then we're going to stick around to The Hermit for Days of Confusion. From 10 to 11 p.m., we will be at the Friday Market today with tickets for Igor and the Red Elvises. Don't forget to get those. You can also get them online at kchw.org, our KCHW Radio Facebook page, or you can click that QR code anywhere, or stop in the Valley Drug Company or Acres United Drug and get those tickets. We do still have tickets left. They are selling fast. And it's going to be an amazing show. It's not going to be one that you're going to want to hear about how awesome it was later. You're going to want to be there to see the show. This is unlike anything that has ever come to Chewelah. You're not going to want to miss this. It's going to blow the doors off this place. It's going to be an amazing show. It's so much fun.
Well, yeah, and I saw them like playing down in Hood River or whatever, and they're playing at this, some kind of festival or something. Yeah. And I mean, the crowd is just, like when you go to a Dead and Company show, and like say you're at the Gorge or any big venue, and it's like the whole hillside is like moving because everybody's dancing. That's how this crowd was, and so it's just so awesome. And on a smaller level, but they bring the dance. So come dressed to dance.
And laugh.
Have fun.
They're also
I don't dress any other way.
I dress to dance today.
All right, everybody. This has been your KCHW Morning Show. We'd like to give Chase a huge thank you for coming out here today.
Thank you so much, guys. This has been really fun.
You're welcome here anytime, man.
Thank you so much for coming.
All right, so tell us what you're going to play and play us out, man.
This is another Dylan Yeager, Chase Champagne original. I wrote the chords in about 20 minutes one night, and the next day I met up with him, and he said he had lyrics to a song that had no chords. Put it together, and it became a song.
Nice.
It's kind of a song about redemption that's really been coming back to me lately. And playing it with the On-Call Cowboys. Very different sound, though, so... Lord, I've been stoned, throwing rocks and broken bones, but here I am with my feet on the ground. You can't keep me down. Rolling through the days, smoking haze, hold my breath and pray. Please keep my feet on the ground. You can't keep me down.
know I ain't alone. Though I stumble on my own, running down a crooked path, going nowhere fast. I was on my knees, by your grace, love, oh, thankfully. I have my feet on the ground. You can't keep me down. I have found a sense of serenity, ooh, with my friends and me, gently finding the note is our one last hope for sanity, clarity, rationality. You can't bring me down.
Thank you, man. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye,
Happy
everybody.
Friday. Happy weekend.
You're listening to Northern Lights Public Radio on 102.7 KCHW, Chewelah, Addy, Gifford. You're listening to Northern Lights Public Radio on 102.7 KCHW, Chewelah, Colville, Kettle Falls.